Hi and welcome to this lesson on calories. In this lesson, what I want you to take away from it is that different foods contain different amounts of calories and how, when you look at your plate, where those calories should be coming from. And we're going to talk about a calorie deficit, all depending on your goals, what you need. So we're going to talk about your macronutrients and your micronutrients, and we're going to describe a calorie so you know exactly what it is. So with a calorie, it's the amount of energy it takes to heat 1 liter of water 1 degree at sea level. That's essentially what a calorie is. But in the human body, we use it as our energy. How do we describe how much energy we need to consume to burn? So the equation is always in, energy in, energy out. If you increase the amount of energy you are using and decrease the amount of energy you are consuming, you're going to be in a negative. Okay, so when it comes to calories, we get them in different macronutrients, and your macronutrients are your proteins, your carbs, and your fats, and your micronutrients are your vitamins and minerals, fat and carbs. So your macros are your protein, fats, and carbs, and your micro are your vitamins and minerals. These guys contain energy and the building blocks that the body needs to grow and repair. If we're exercising a lot, we're going to need to make sure we've got protein so that we're repairing. And then we're going to need to make sure we've got carbs, that we've got enough energy to sustain our training or just our daily lives. So when it comes to these guys, there's a certain amount of calories that they contain. And then there's also a certain breakdown that you should be trying to follow. So when it comes to protein, 1 gram equals 4 calories. When it comes to fat, 1 gram equals 9 calories. And when it comes to carbs, 1 gram equals 4 calories. Okay. The thing about carbs that you need to understand is blood sugar. Full and full. I'm going to talk about that. So the main way that we get calories in the diet is from your macronutrients, so your proteins, your fats, and your carbohydrates. There's one other way that we can consume calories, and that is alcohol. Alcohol contains 7 calories. So we want to make sure that when we're drinking alcohol, we're fully aware of how many calories it contains and what's associated with that. So when you look at your protein, your fat, and your carbs, and you look at your dinner plate and your goals, there's a certain way that you should be breaking it down and figuring out how many grams of protein, fat, and carbs you should be consuming. First and foremost, everybody's calorie intake will be different, how many calories they should consume. If I was to lie in bed for a week because I was sick or I injured my ankle and I'm sedentary for a week, I'm still going to burn calories because there's a certain amount of calories that your body needs to actually function on a daily basis. But when I'm more active, I'm going to need more calories. Okay, so calories are based on your age, your weight, your height, your activity levels, and your gender. Unfortunately, males burn more calories than we do. So you want to make sure that you know how many calories you should be consuming any given day. And that you're going to use is an internet search because it's too much to try and figure out how many calories you should be consuming with your calculator and a pen. So I would suggest go online, find a calorie calculator, and we're going to go from there. So let's say we're going to take an example of somebody that needs to eat 2,000 calories a day and they weigh 55 kg. Okay. I'm going to give you the steps to figure out how many grams of protein, how many grams of fat, and how many grams of carbohydrates you should be eating in a day. And then I'm going to tell you how to address, if you want to look to lose weight, how you will do that. So if you are 55 kg and you are consuming protein, how much should you be consuming? So that's based on your body weight and activity levels. I would suggest that your protein intake should be anywhere from 1.2 to 2 grams of protein a day, depending on your activity levels. If you're doing a certain amount of exercise, I would definitely say 1.5 to 2 grams. If you're a beginner, new to exercise, definitely 1.5 to 2 grams of protein a day. So if I'm having 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight at 55 kg, that's going to equal 110 grams of protein. It's a separate lesson all about protein and how to figure out where you should be going with it, but we'll talk about that. So 110 grams of protein, multiply that by 4 from here, and it's going to equal 440 calories should come from protein every day. When it comes to fat, it's blanket, it's 20% of your overall calories should come from fat. So 20% from this is going to be 400 calories should come from fat. And then carbohydrates is going to be the rest. So 2,000 calories minus and minus is going to equal 1,160 calories. Okay, that's where you're going to get your carbohydrates from. If you want to figure out how many grams, divide it by 4, and that's going to equal how many grams of carbohydrates you can eat. I'm going to get my calculator because my brain's just not that good today. Divide by 4, and that's going to be 290 grams of carbs. Okay, so 400 divided by 9 is going to equal to 44.5 grams of fat. Can everyone see how I figured that out? So protein is going to be based on 2 grams per kilo of body weight and your activity level, but I'm going to say it's 2 grams, and we're going to go 110 grams. Fat is going to be 20% of your calories, so you get 20% of your calories, which is 400, and divided by 9, that's going to give you how many grams? And carbohydrates is going to be the rest. So this example, it's 1,160. If I divide that by 4, I'm going to get 290 grams. Now, if you're looking to lose a pound of fat, how many calories are in a pound of fat? 3,500. Okay. That's a good bit of calories to consider. So when you're looking to lose any sort of weight, I would suggest going into a calorie deficit of 15%. And I would suggest that it comes from your carbohydrates. We need protein for growth and repair. Protein makes us feel fuller for longer. When food is in the digestive system, in the stomach, and it's looking to empty, protein might take up to 6 hours to leave the digestive system. Okay? Carbs may take an hour, may take 20 minutes. They go through the stomach and the digestive system really quickly, and they get absorbed into the blood really quickly. Fat is in between there, so in between your 6 hours, your 20 minutes. So you always want to make sure you're having protein with each meal because it takes your stomach longer to empty. When your stomach is fuller for longer, you're going to feel fuller for longer, and you're not going to crave, you're not going to be hungry, you're not looking for food. When it comes to carbohydrates, you want to try and make sure that you're eating low sugar options, because when our blood sugar is imbalanced, we tend to crave, our mood crashes, our energy levels crash, and then we look to eat again. So there's all separate lessons on carbs, fats, and proteins, but we're just going to talk about them blanketly here. So if you are looking to lose any sort of weight, I would suggest knocking 15% off your total carb intake. Okay? Don't go for 25%, don't go for 30%. You are just looking to do something that you can maintain over time, and that is essentially reducing by 15%. Okay? We're going to talk a little bit about alcohol. So alcohol contains high levels of calories, but the problem with alcohol as well is if you're drinking spirits, what are you mixing it with? If you're mixing it with Coke or pineapple juice, that also contains more calories. If you are mixing alcohol, depends on what you're going to have. You can have like soda water and lime, fantastic. It's going to be low in calories. But if you are consuming alcohol and then having made food choices that evening after you're drinking, your calories can go high again because lost a little bit of inhibition there, and you just go for what you want and you don't kind of think about what you should be consuming. Also, the next morning, you may look for greasy, high-calorie foods to make you feel better because you're hungover. So not only does alcohol contain a lot of calories, it depends what you're mixing it with and just what you're eating that evening and the choices you're going to make the next day. So always be aware of the amount of calories in alcohol. If you were to consume a 5-ounce glass of wine every night for a month, and you've reached your 2,000 calories, I'm good, I've reached my 2,000 calories, but then I add a glass of wine at nighttime, you will put on a pound of fat from that wine. Just one 5-ounce glass a night, every night for 28 nights. Okay? Because that's the amount, it's going to give you 3,500 calories, and that's going to equate to a pound of fat. So please be aware where you should be getting your calories from. Start with protein. Build your plate around protein. Add some fat, and then we're going to go carbs. So essentially, if you look at it, 20% of your calories should come from fat, so 20% of your plate should be fat. Make sense? So remember, if you're looking to get into a calorie deficit to lose a pound of fat or 10 pounds of fat, remember, aim for a 15%. To find out your calories you should be consuming on a day, do a Google search, have a look. It's going to give you areas to fill out, so your age, your weight, your height, your gender, and your activity levels, and it's going to give you an idea of how many calories you should be eating. Then work off that, take 15% off, and try and make sure that 15% is coming from your carbs. Okay, I hope you learned something. Any questions, please shoot us an email and I can answer it. And I hope you can join us for another lesson, maybe on protein, fats, and carbs. Thank you.